And therefore, any expense on training will also be treated as an investment. Now, until and unless they are convinced that they are going to get return on that investment, they will not be, spending any amount of money. And therefore, what is needed is that we have to have the evaluation data ready to convince the higher ups that what are the benefits of training and whose responsibility it is, that has to be ascertained. And to what extent were the identified training needs, objectives achieved by the program. You have got to convince, you have to have this document ready so that the past, when the money was spent, is justified for any kind of future allotments. To what extent were the learner's objective achieved, that we would like to know. Otherwise, the learner will not take any interest in the training, right? We also find that what specifically did the learners learn or be usefully reminded of, because it is their supervisors who will tell them as to what they have got to do once they receive training and how they are going to implement it. So that has to be reminded of. We also find that what commitment have the learners made about learning they are going to implement on their return to the work, because that is something that they have got to commit to their supervisors. Otherwise, they will not be relieved for the same job. So we have got to know how successful were the trainees in implementing their action plans. To what extent were they supported in this by their line managers, the supervisors, and to what extent has the action listed above achieved a return on investment that we were talking about? That is, in monetary terms, what they have achieved. And if it cannot be achieved through monetary terms, we have got to see as to what kind of customer satisfaction has been achieved. If it is soft skill training, and how that satisfaction has been translated into a return on investment in terms of money. The organizations commonly fail to perform these evaluation process, especially where we have the HR department and the trainers not having sufficient time for doing this evaluation, because time is a constraint for them. We also find that the HR department does not have sufficient resources in terms of people, availability of their manpower, in terms of money, that is the budget, to do this evaluation, and therefore we do not do it. Obviously, in any organization, the program have to be organized depending on the amount of money that is committed to it, or even if they have a plan, is this plan funded by the organization? Do they have the resources in terms of men and money to do it? Therefore, evaluation, if it is available, shall have to be two principal factors which will be resolved before we start the training. That is, who is responsible for evaluation, validation and evaluation of the training process, and what resource, time, people and money are available for validation evaluation purposes. Within this, consider the effect of variation to these. For instance, an unexpected cut in budget or manpower. In other words, anticipate and plan contingency to do the variations and absorb those changes that is there. Now, who has to do evaluation? Before we go to the topic as to how to do evaluation, we have got to see who is responsible for evaluating the training needs. Traditionally, in the main, any evaluation or other assessment has been left to the trainers. That is, in past it was trainer who has been doing it, and they were taking a happy sheet. That is, how satisfied were the people with training, how satisfied were they with the facilities that was provided, how much of tours and travel did they undergo, how much did they enjoy the training, because it was felt that if they are satisfied, then the training was effective. Otherwise, training is not effective. Therefore, training evaluation should exist, each member of the quotient having roles and responsibilities in the process, assessing the value of your training, that is, Leslie and Gower said it, considerable lip service appears to be paid to this, but the actual practice tends to be a lot more less that is there. Therefore, training quotient advocated consists of senior management. They have got to be part of it. We have to have the trainer being part of it. We have to have line managers being part of this evaluation process. We have to have training managers who will be part of this training process, and the trainees themselves. So we have got 5 different heads, the 5 different angles to this, starting with senior manager to trainer, line manager, training manager, and the trainee themselves who are receiving training. That what are their individual responsibility? For example, if you look at senior manager, there has to be awareness of the need and value of training to the organization, because they are the one who are at the point of sanctioning authority for any kind of thing. So they have to be there. The necessity of involving the training manager or equivalent in senior management meetings, where decisions are made about future changes when training will be essential. So the direction of the company will determine what training has to be imparted for futuristic training needs. That is only possible if senior managers are involved. Knowledge of and support of training plans have to be there from the top management. We have to have active participation in the events of these managers so that the lower ones get motivated. The requirement for evaluation to be performed and require regular summary report to be sent to the top management. That is also there. And policy and strategic decisions based on the results, that is ROI, have to be calculated at this particular level. Therefore, data has to be shared with them. If you look at the trainer training evaluation responsibility, they have to make provision of any necessary pre-program work, etc., and program planning. This will be done by the trainer. So, any pre-program, material have to be provided, or they have to be given a quiz beforehand to gauge the level as to at what level their understanding is. They have got to do that. They have got to identify at the start of the program of the knowledge and skill level of the trainees or learners. That is, once they reach the training department. Provision of training and learning resources to enable the learners to learn within the objectives of the program and the learners' own objectives. One thing is that materials is sent to you in advance, maybe a fortnight or a month or 2 months in advance, so that you can go through the background. So when you reach the training venues, you must be having a place to live somewhere. You find that in the room, the training material is being put, cases are being put, so that you can go through and prepare for the morning, which is quite bulky. So when you go for training, it's not a paid holiday. You are going to do much more hard work than you were doing at the workplace. And therefore, these materials have to be read so that you can easily participate in the process. And the quiz is also given with that material, that once you have gone through, you attempt the quiz, and that quiz has to be submitted to the trainer once you reach the classroom or anything of training venue. You have got to monitor the learning as the program process. So we will have evaluation at the end of each module, at the middle of the program, and this is what we are saying, monitoring the learning as the program progresses. And we also have got to see at the end of the program that assessment and receipt of report from the learners of the learning level achieved. That is, end of the training evaluation have to be done. That is normally the practice at the training venues. You also have got to ensure that this trainer produces, they have got to produce by the learners an action plan to reinforce practice and implement learning. That action plan have to be written by the trainees, and that will be under the guidance of the training manager. Now, if you look at the line manager as to what they have got to do, see, line managers, as we said, we are referring to here as supervisors or immediate boss of the persons, right? Work needs and people identification, who is to receive training and which job has to be done. They also have got to look at involvement in the training program and evaluation development from these line managers, support of pre-event preparation and holding briefing, that is the meeting with the learner as to what they have got to learn, how they are going to deal with it, so on and so forth. We also find that giving ongoing and practical support to the training program as and when it is required by the trainer, they have got to participate, holding a debriefing meeting with the learners on their return to work and discuss and agree as to how they are going to modify the things and the action plan that they need, and review the program of learning implementation. That is the responsibility of the line manager. We also find that they will finally review of implementation, success and assessment where possible of return on investment, that is ROI, has to be done by these people. Now, the training manager's responsibility will be management of training department, their maintenance of interest and support in the planning and implementation of the program, that is including a practical involvement where required. We also have the frequent and relevant contact with the senior management. They are the ones who will have liaison, because everybody cannot approach the top management directly. So, a staircase is there in the form of training managers who are there. We also find that they will be doing liaison with the learners, line managers, and arrangement of learning implementation. Basically, they coordinate the affairs, implement responsibility of learning programs for the managers who are there, and liaison with line managers where necessary in assessment of training return on investment that is there. The last group with which you have got to see is the learner themselves, involvement in the planning and design of the training program where possible. See, this involvement is necessary, but if you have training where in the designing, if you have involvement of these trainees involved, they will take more interest, they will be more motivated because it is their decision, their design that is implemented, and therefore there will be less of any kind of resentment that is there, and therefore, if possible, try and involve them because they know the best as far as what they have got to learn. The involvement in the planning and design of evaluation process where possible, which, because everything cannot be evaluated, you will have the benchmarking being done, and for that purpose, the benchmarking purpose, you will need the support of the trainees. We also have obviously to make interest. They have got to take interest and an active part in the training program or activity because it is their benefit. If they grow, they will be the first beneficiary, and that is how the organization will also benefit. We also find that to complete a personal action plan during and at the end of training for implementation on return to work and put it in practice with support from the line managers, that is part of it, and they have got to take interest and support the evaluation process, because if they are providing wrong data, that data will no longer be useful, the data will not be of any purpose that is there, right? In brief, what we have got to do is that we have got to do pre-training evaluation, we have got to do during training evaluation, we have got to do end training evaluation, we have got to do post-training evaluation, application per level evaluation, and that is there. And we also have got to do a refresher for this evaluation as to if some refresher program is needed for these people. So what we find is that these training evaluation will achieve the purpose if we have got the training being done properly about these people. Right? Thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me.